Welcome to Sports Econ 101. And for those of you new to our show, imagine a few guys sitting around a bar without the drinks, talking sports and business with you, the audience listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, well-known sports personality Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn of CBS affiliate KPIX-TV in San Francisco. Well, on this show, we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. In addition, we'll be asking sports trivia questions, where we give away vacations to the first three callers with the correct answer. Our phone number is 888-660-4495. Write that number down, 888-660-4495, because you're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 vacations given away during each commercial break. That's right, we're giving away 9 vacations during this show. Now, the vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort Marina, which is located 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. The vacations are free. Their only request, a $75 cleaning fee to cover housekeeping expenses. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Today's trivia theme is general sports questions. And on today's show, we're going to talk, first of all, to a guest, John Coyne, who says golf is a dying sport. We'll find out why. We'll also talk about baseball players getting paid on only the first 4 games of the World Series, which goes back to the 1919 scandal. Athletes who made millions and lost millions, Allen Iverson, for example. Maybe if we have enough time, we'll get into disability insurance for athletes, a little bit of Tim Tebow, bad calls that cost players money, such as Jim Joyce ruining Armando Galarraga's perfect game, football players having to file tax returns in many states they play. And this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by IRA Services Trust Company, providing self-directed retirement accounts with more choices, diversification, and among the lowest fees in the industry. Now, I personally use them to hold my diversified IRA. Check them out at iraservices.com. And stay tuned because you are listening to Sports Econ 101, and we'll be right back.
It's a great play, too, cross-under move.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan.
Hello.
Okay, and on the phone, we have John Coyne, who is a 7-time best-selling author. And the title, the reason I wanted to have him on is because he's got this thing that says, Golf is Dying.
Really?
Really, yeah. Now, John, I'm going to let you take it from here. Okay. Give us a rundown. Why is golf dying? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, golf is dying for a number of reasons. One, it is very costly to play golf. The second reason is that it is very expensive to play golf. Those two, both in time and in money. And golfers are walking away from the game because they want to play something that they can enjoy with their partner, and they also can enjoy with their kids.
Yeah, so, it also seems, John, like time seems to be everyone's most valuable asset. It just seems like it takes too long to play 18 holes.
Well, the average is sort of 5 hours. I mean, the courses are too long, and it takes longer to get around 18 holes. And there's an attempt now that's been led by not only the Golf Digest the magazine, but also by the PGA Tour and the PGA professionals, as well as the USGA, which is the governing body of golf in the United States, to have golfers play 9 holes. And there's 18 holes was set up by St. Andrews, and could have been 14, it could have been 16. It was what just happened was when they set up on a links course. When a links course is you go from along these the sandy shores in St. Andrews, and you went out to a certain distance, and then you turned around and came back and played, in many cases, played the same hole.
Of course, 9 holes usually takes me about 18.
They changed that and came up with 18, but it doesn't have to be 18. And now they're pushing this idea that time for 9, you can play in the morning, play in the afternoon.
Boy, wouldn't it be nice to have 5 hours to play golf? I would die. I do actually, when I go body surf, I do take about 4 hours. So I hope body surfing isn't dying. I'm just being silly.
I cannot remember the last time I was like, I've got 5 hours on. Let me just go out and play golf. I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And I used to play 3 times a week.
Did you?
Now if
Really?
I get out 3 times a year, that's a lot. And in all those 3 times, it's a charity golf tournament.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably wouldn't play.
That's true.
There you go.
So, John, you had in the information that you gave me here examples from Major League Baseball that the PGA needs to follow. What do you mean?
What's happening is technology has sort of consumed golf as it's consumed everything else, and you have in baseball the concept of the juiced up baseball, and that's being hit out of the park, and this is changing the game in that sense. The same thing happens with golf when you have a juiced up golf ball. I mean, the ball that you and I would play, Everett, is not the same ball that they're playing on the tour. And the clubs are not the same. I mean, they're much more sophisticated clubs and much more designed for the individual player. Now, this kind of golf is not sort of available to everybody, but you can still get balls that are a lot different. I mean, golf
especially the one
through transitional periods from the feather ball, which first started with the golf back with hickory clubs.
Yeah, John, I tried to get one with a GPS on it.
Actually, yeah.
Just make a line right on the.
Hasn't been proved by the USGA, but my wife gave me a carton of balls that guarantee that I'm not going to slice, which is one of my real problems. So
that would be nice.
There are balls now you can get that will keep you from slicing, as well as balls that go farther because the dimples are smaller. So all of this technology is not only coming into the ball, but it's also coming into the driver. And Hogan, who is a great, I wrote a book about him called The Caddy Who Knew Ben Hogan. Hogan would drive the ball maybe 280. Well, 280 now, you can barely make the tour. I mean, a normal golfer can hit the ball 280. They're driving the ball. Tiger.
I've hit the ball 280. No,
yeah, but you're right. John is right, because guys getting 280 are guys like Corey Pavin, Fred Funk, and they're at the low end.
Well, I went to I was in Hawaii, and I was watching the women after they had played, and they were just hitting the ball, on driving range, right? And there was this little Korean woman who was about 4'0", and she was hitting at 300 yards.
Wow.
It was so impressive.
That's about 50% of the LPGA, isn't it?
Probably, yeah. Oh, yeah, with the Korean woman, yeah. So now you had another thing in here about why the caddy is so important to golf pros like Tiger and Phil. What did you mean by that?
Well, part of it is nostalgia for myself. I grew up as a caddy, started caddying when I was 10 years old in the Midwest, and I've always had great affection for the role that a caddy plays, and I've done 3 golf books that have the caddy in the title. The reason they're important is because they're a counselor, they're a shrink, they're the player's best friend, and they also are knowledgeable about the game. I mean, the caddy goes out before the round, walks the golf course, checks where the pins are, checks what they have to look for in various holes, and then when they come around to play, he brings that knowledge of not only of the golf course but also of the player. I mean, players get like everybody else, and the reason golf is so difficult is because you have to walk between shots, and you're a victim of your mind and of your fear and everything else. And last week, I mean, you had a case where Phil Mickelson was going to win this tournament, blew up in the last 3 holes, a combination of the rain and the pressure and everything else. It's a tough sport psychologically. You got golfers have not only physical trainers, they also have shrinks, and they have who they're coaches.
The sports psychologists.
Yeah.
They got a team of people that follow them around.
Yeah, John,
I didn't count as the caddy who's with them walking 18 holes.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're kind of scouts too. That's sort of a neat story.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm so lazy that I have a caddy on my mini golf course. He carries my putter around for me.
Hey, John, how much do the top caddies get these days?
They make about it varies, but on a normal thing they get anywhere from like 5 to 10% of what the pro makes.
Not bad.
The player makes. This varies based on how long they've been with them. It also based on the management team that handles them, and some of them get jobs afterwards in the corporation. I mean, all these people they either have, Tiger certainly, but they go on to create golf courses. They have businesses, etc. So
I would think having a good massage there.
Yeah, I had heard in the case of Stevie Williams, who was with Tiger for a long time, that instead of a percentage of the winnings, he got one base salary.
Nice.
Well, I'm not sure I'm sure that base salary was enormous because he just came back and caddied for Scott, who Adams, who just won the Masters, and he's now got a new career with him as a caddy. Although there's some question of whether he's going to have that many years left in him. It's a tough job, caddy, carrying lugging that bag around for 4 hours, and you're figuring if you're at least walking 4 to 6 miles a day, even if you have Tiger. Of course, with Tiger's drives, he's in the woods more than once now.
Hey, on the subject of that, John, let me just jump in with this real quick. You said golf is hurting, but is it really hurting that much economically? I mean, I come at you from the TV side because that's my business. I mean, I work in that. Aren't golf ratings as high as they've ever been?
Yeah,
and when Tiger's in contention,
you're looking at it as TV and the TV viewer, and Tiger has been great for that. Palmer was great for golf, and when television came along in the '60s, he brought all the pros at least 25 cents or 50 cents more to their dollar to what they were making. When golf didn't make any money until the TV came on. I mean, pros could barely survive.
John, we're gonna
happen now is what I'm talking about. The
Hey, John.
You and
John, I got to cut you off for a second because we got to cut to a commercial break here. We'll come back with you in just a minute. Okay, we're going to cut to our first commercial break. Here's the first trivia question. What is the minimum number of balls required to complete a game of bowling? The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouseforfun.com. Call 888-660-4495. That's 888-660-4495 to answer this question. What is the minimum number of balls required to complete a game of bowling? 888-660-4495. Make sure to include your name, email address, and speak slowly and spell out your email for us one letter at a time. And don't touch that dial because Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I think it's 22 or 23, isn't it?
No, I think it's 22.
22? 22?
No.
23?
No, I'll get back to
24? Willie Mays' number.
Yeah.
No, Willie
When I was
Mays
a
turned
kid, we always
82
used to do.
yesterday.
We
I
always
still
used
can't
to.
believe that. Willie Mays turned 82 yesterday.
He was my idol.
Oh, he's the best. See, Molly was born the day after Willie Mays.
All right.
Molly passed McGowan, and I'm born 5 days after.
I'm 82.
Not quite. You'll be 82 someday, I hope.
I'm 80.
You're
Like
80?
him?
What's that? Oh, you're 8 and he's 82. That's right. So he's 10 times older than you.
Molly, you just turned 8? She just turned 8?
She's doing her little kid voice. She loves to do this. Little performer.
In
Molly
fact,
Bass.
my business partner Marco has the exact same birthday as Barry Bonds, year and day.
July 24th. That's one of my best friend's birthdays. July 24th.
Wow.
Yeah. JFK, May 29th. He'd be 96 years old if he was still alive.
Wow.
Martin Luther King in April 5th, I think it is, or 4th. That was the day the baseball season started late because he was assassinated. I think it was either opening day or the day before opening day. That was a horrible year. 68, we lost RFK and Martin Luther King the same year, and within 2 months of each other.
Yeah, that's
Just shook this country to its foundation. It was a horrible, horrible time. The Vietnam
War wars, gone strong, all that.
crazy times. Vernon, you were a little guy then. You remember that?
68. I was 6 years old.
I was 16. You're 10 years younger than me. God,
51, baby.
You're just a kid. I'm 53, so anyone
You
remember
guys-
53 is a kid.
You guys are you're kids of the 70s.
Just a kid. That's it. Yeah, in the 60s.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay. When we come back, hey John, when we come back, we're just gonna finish off with you for just a couple of minutes, then we'll move into something else, and we'll say goodbye to you. Okay?
Okay, great.
All right. So why don't we finish off with the thing that says here: 3 signs that you are spending enough time playing golf. You had that on your sheet. You know what that was?
Yeah. I was going to think of that one.
Where's he going?
He's asking for 25 million.
That was a couple years ago. Yeah.
17,000 square
Expect.
feet.
Yeah. What is that?
Electronics free.
What are the three
He has all
signs?
the, little buttons you can push and open the door and drop the
Or do you want to
chain
just
and do this
forget
and
about that?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, was there anything else that you wanted?
Bonds is home.
Well, you know, let's go
I'll take
back
two.
to, let me give you some National Golf Foundation statistics about what
Beverly Hills.
either golf is in trouble.
Okay.
I could do that, and those are not long. They're like 3 or 4 statistics, and then it sums up what the problem is today.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, and then I'll end with why I think golf, how
Get back. Let me call you back. I'm right in the middle of doing a radio show.
How
It's
golfers
okay,
could what?
but-
Well, I think the answer really is to start
You got
playing
the what?
9 holes and to
Okay.
develop. It's easier to
good,
play.
good.
It's more fun.
Great,
It's not
great news.
taxing. It's
Okay.
better.
All right. Let's do
Great
that.
news. I'm really glad to hear
And
that.
forget about the statistics part. We'll just go right into since golf is dying. What can we do to turn
Okay,
it around?
great. Good.
Good job.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Good, good, and good job, sir.
All
I
right.
love you. Okay, love you. Bye bye.
I love you too. Oh.
That is such good news. Shoot.
Oh, your wife?
No, my sister's got control of my parents' power of attorney.
Oh, good.
I hate to say it, but it's good.
Sometimes it,
Yeah, it's necessary. Yeah.
all right, guys, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. When we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question. What is the minimum number of balls required to complete a game of bowling? Anybody?
Let's say 22 or
No.
24.
No. It's only 11.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's right.
the
Yeah.
minimum,
Oh, yes,
right?
that's
Because
right.
you get,
Oh,
what
the
happens
minimum.
is you get 9 strikes,
Yeah.
and then you get an open frame.
Oh,
with two.
okay.
So
All right.
11.
All right. And on the phone here we have
You
John.
got us, Bruce.
I gotcha.
man.
I gotcha.
Trick
Okay.
question.
Okay.
Unfair.
It's bowling. Yeah, what can I say? Okay. We are on the phone with John Coyne, best-selling author regarding why golf is dying. And so, since you've said that golf is dying, what can we do? What can everyone do to bring it back?
Well, I think the answer, Edward, is to do this. Is to go with this new idea, which is being promoted now, which is time for 9. In other words, play golf 9 holes and don't worry about playing 18. And I think there's going to be a new emphasis on that because golf for 18 holes certainly takes about 5 hours based on both the long golf courses and the number of people playing. And if you've got 2 hours to play, you can have a good time. You can bring back to the game golfers who have just given up because it's been too expensive, and because for playing for 9 holes, you're playing. You're going to maybe cost you $20 at the most, and you can do it in the morning, or you can do it in the afternoon. And I think that's the answer: is to start there, go for 9 holes. And courses, both public and private, are going to start developing methods, because if you can play 18 holes when you finish 9, you're back at the clubhouse.
Mr. Coyne, you got to come out to Mill Valley and play the little course that we have out here in Mill Valley. If you're not in Mill Valley, but maybe you are, but that's a great little. You played
I'm
it
in New
before.
York. I'm in New York.
Oh, you got to come out to California and play our little 9 horse.
California weather out here.
It's right in the shadow of Mount Tamalpais. It's absolutely beautiful. How many years has that been around, Vern?
That's for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a Mill Valley in Connecticut too.
Is there?
Yeah, I think
They
there's a
stole
Mill
it from us.
There's a Mill Valley, Connecticut.
I like the McGinnis course here.
McGinnis course is nice in Sanderfeld too. That's a nice 9-hole course.
Okay, John, thank you so much for joining us.
Listen, thank you guys. Good luck to you.
Okay.
Go out there and play golf.
All right. Okay, so that was John Coyne, and let's see here. I'm going to totally change subject here. Baseball players only get paid on the first 4 games of the World Series. You guys know that, right?
You know something? I thought that if you get a winner's share and a loser's share, and I always thought I
thought it was one lump sum that you
Yeah,
got, like a winner share and loser
that's
share.
what I was under the
Well,
impression.
this goes back to 1919,
Okay.
the Black Sox scandal,
Oh,
right?
I should know these things.
Yeah, right.
I'm a
First they were
baseball
throwing the
freak.
games, and they realized, they go, wait a minute, you know what? Because think about it, if guys are in collusion, they go, if we get paid on a per game basis, here, you win the first one, I'll win the second, you win the third, and then we'll really fight it out for the last 3.
I remember the guy who came out of that deal smelling sweet was a guy named Chick Gandil. He came away with about $12,000. The rest of the guys, the rest of those Black Sox, they hardly got anything. Joe Jackson, I think, got $5,000, and he was banished from the game forever.
Yeah, he got the worst of it.
Yeah. And they said it was because he was illiterate. He didn't understand the circumstances.
Well, I knew he couldn't read. I mean, that
he couldn't write, couldn't read and write.
Yeah, but still the difference between right and wrong. But the thing is, with all the I don't know. There's just too much stuff going on back then.
Now, one great thing about him, though, he put his money that he had into a business, and he was able to run that business until he died, which was in his early 60s, late 50s. So he did okay. He didn't, some of the other guys, they all did okay, actually. None of them had any terrible times after that, so I don't feel sorry for them at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm brutally honest with you.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Right. He should be.
He should be.
There's no question. Joe Jackson should be.
I mean, you look at guys like Ty Cobb, who was not a very nice gentleman.
No, he didn't play clean.
No,
he didn't play clean.
No.
In fact, it's funny. Ty Cobb. Do you guys see the movie Ty Cobb?
Oh yeah, with Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. My favorite line in there is when he's he's already retired and he goes to, I think it's Vegas, and he gets brought up on stage. Hey, it's Ty Cobb. They bring him up on stage, and so the guy asks him, he says, well, what do you think about pitchers nowadays? He goes, they're all a bunch of pansies. He goes, really? He goes, well, what do you think you'd hit against them? Not 290. He goes, really? You'd only hit 290? He goes, I'm 71 years old. What do you think? I love that line.
Right. That was a good one.
Okay. All right. Here, let's move into this one here. Athletes who made mega millions and lost it.
Ooh, quite a few of those
There's
guys.
a lot of those guys. Okay? I mean, Allen Iverson, and who's the big one? Right?
Tell me.
Mike Tyson.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
got a nice one-man show going.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I heard that got mixed reviews.
He just played here in San Francisco.
It'd be interesting to see him on stage though as an actor, don't you think, Edward?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably wasn't
so.
very good as an actor, but just to see him try it, he's such an interesting
true.
personality. He's a very outgoing guy. He's become that way anyway.
I mean, pound
Kinda
for
crazy.
not pound for pound, but boy, I would have liked to see him and Ali.
Oof.
I mean,
that would have been a contrast in styles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, Ali's a boxer, and he's a little bit more.
But to a degree, as I understand it, Sonny Liston was kind of a Mike Tyson of his time.
Yeah.
I mean, he would just brutally just beat you up.
Yeah.
That's why nobody gave Van Cassius Clay a chance when they fought, and then boom. Well, we know the rest.
And who was it? Archie
Moore.
Archie Moore. He won it in more than one weight class.
That's right.
That's pretty amazing.
It is.
Rocky Marciano. You got
Rocky Marciano never lost
He never
a pro
lost.
match in his life.
Speaking of never lost, how about Floyd Money Mayweather?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Undefeated also.
Undefeated. He's 44-0.
Yeah.
He was a 6-1 favorite to win, and he may have lost one round when he fought the kid from Gilroy, Robert the Ghost Guerrero.
And how old is Merriweather now?
He's got to be.
He's 36 years old.
That's
Mid-
not
30s.
bad.
36 years
But
old.
then he just
the Ghost was 30.
Didn't he just sign a deal for him with?
Set a mega deal with Showtime
Showtime's
pay-per-view
with
for 4 fights.
4 fights, yeah.
Got $32 million for this fight over the weekend, and somebody on Twitter wrote something about how it came up to like 20,000 a punch, something like that. And I was asking somebody, just because I'm just curious about these things, how much does he actually walk away with
About
when
half
you get
that.
$32 million?
Half of that.
And so I was talking to a tax guy on the way over here, and he said, well, probably by the time it's all said and done, probably walks away with between 18 and 20 million.
Oh my God.
Because remember, he fought in Nevada,
That's right.
no state income tax.
Yeah.
Now, the feds get him,
Sure.
but
I heard Pacquiao's going to fight in China coming up here.
I heard that too. Get
Now,
out of the
I wonder
car.
how they get paid in China. Well, they're just as capitalistic as we are.
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
They are.
Absolutely.
They're
I'm
taking
sure
it one.
Pacquiao's big in China.
No, I imagine he
Well,
is.
let me ask you about Merriweather, because I don't know how good on his finances, but someone like Tyson, okay, he won more than $400 million at one point,
Wow.
and he lost everything. Now, they talk about the reasons, okay? Nasty divorce, that'll cut you right in half at least. A federal rape charge, yeah, that doesn't help.
Mhm.
Felony drug possession, DUI.
Is
and,
Don King on that list?
You know what, they didn't have him here, and they say
Don King
the
fleeced him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's true. And the bloody ear incident. But look at these other reasons here. Now, it's funny, George Best, do you know who he is?
I've heard of him. Wasn't he the soccer player?
Soccer player,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he made, good, looks like a decent looking guy here, made over $100 million before he lost it all when he became an alcoholic.
Oh,
Wow.
Fast women
Oh.
and cars.
wow.
Okay. Then you got Marion Jones here, right? Fastest woman in the world.
Mhm.
She made over $7 million every year. She lost everything, including the gold medals, thanks to the steroids, the counterfeiting, check forging, committing perjury to the IRS. That ain't a good thing. Money laundering and illegal drugs.
Oh my God!
Okay,
I knew she had a rap sheet, but I didn't know it was that bad.
Good gracious.
Okay, then you get guys like Travis Henry, who was a running back for Buffalo Bills and Denver Broncos. Again, serious drug problem. Now this one doesn't help. 9 children with 9
different
mothers.
women. Oh man.
That definitely
Walking
doesn't help.
advertisement for hey, let's. Have you ever thought of using a condom?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, a lot of these guys, they, if you think about it, forgetting the divorce type situation, if you don't get into debt, then you really theoretically can't lose much, right?
Well, I heard something. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, Vernon. If you've heard this, or maybe you have, Edward, that something like 90% of all, it was a certain sport. I wasn't sure if it was I think it was the NFL. 90% of all players who played in the last 10 years are having financial problems.
Yeah, that's
not,
football, the NFL.
They're not like on the street or anything, but they're having major financial problems.
Here it is. Okay.
Hey, you know what? Hey, when you're Dusty Baker said this in an interview with us. He says, hey, when you're on the rise and you're young, you think you're invincible. You think you got all the answers. You got your yo boys hanging all over you.
Oh yeah.
And then when you start going out to these clubs, when you walk up to the velvet ropes, they go, "Oh, right this way, Mr. Brown."
Sure.
His money's no good here. No, just and then when it's gone, who are you?
I mean, I thought it was pretty good baseballer, right? Went up to Bruce Bochy after they won the 2010 World Series. I said, "Hey, you want me as a pitcher? I can throw in the high 60s. Everything will be an off-speed pitch."
Did he get you with saves?
No? It didn't get me there.
Great thing about Bruce, though, he probably gave you a nice pat in the back and said, "I appreciate your help. Appreciate it very much."
That's right. Now, let's see here. Okay, so some of those frightening statistics say that 60% of basketball stars go bankrupt within 5 years of retirement. 78% of American footballers lose their fortune in 2 years.
Oh.
And a lot of it has to do with some very poor financial investment.
Well, Edward, I
choices.
mean, they get so much credit, and then they just, they lease cars and get all this stuff, on credit. And hey,
What was it, Jack Clark, who had 15 cars?
yeah, when those checks stop coming in,
You remember Darrell Evans?
get in line
Yeah.
like the rest of us.
Yeah, I was going to say, you remember Darrell Evans?
Sure.
And I don't know what his problems are, but I was talking to Bill Lasky, he's a friend of mine and a friend of yours, Vernon, from Comcast Sportsnet, pitched with the Giants for 5 years, pitched in the majors for 8 years, told me that Darrell Evans, the other players, don't even talk with him anymore because he's having some, not only bad financial problems, but he was, unfortunately, some things went wrong and everybody just kind of stayed away from him. And I don't know what the deals was. I like Darrell Evans. I don't know what the deal
I
is.
still
I'm not
remember
gonna
the 3
make a
home
judgment.
runs.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to cut to our second commercial break here, and this Vern, you'll like this. Just something.
I do that all the time when I'm on the air live, and it's very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
It's
Okay.
hard. It's
You know what? You know what I get on the air? People call me by my last name.
I know. I was going to say.
Because I have 3 first names.
That's right. Vernon, what's your middle name?
Vernon.
Yeah.
Your middle name is
Very
Vernon?
first name is James.
James Vernon.
I like that.
I like that.
Junior.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
The 4 main swimming strokes are freestyle, backstroke, butterfly, and don't say anything yet. The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-660-4495. That's 888-660-4495 to answer this question. The 4 main swimming strokes are freestyle, backstroke, butterfly, and what? Call 888-660-4495. Make sure to include your name, email address. Speak slowly and spell out your email for us 1 letter at a time. These guys are too funny. They're doing
Vernon and I are showing it how it's done.
Actually,
it's the stroke I use when I go bodysuit.
We got to get
Very
Zach
good.
in.
Yeah.
We got to get Zach in, and he'll show you how it's done.
Sports Econ 101 will be right back. You guys are too funny.
Zach just said, I was showing him. Zach just said a pool record in Terra Linda at a meet.
I saw you sent the
And
pictures.
and he said all these team records. It was,
Yeah, that's so cool. I saw the you posted, and I took a quick peek at it the other day. That was neat. Proud Papa. That's fun, isn't it? Watching him grow up.
and then that same day, my middle one, 3-run homer at Boyle Park.
Oh my God, Vernon, you're a proud papa. This one brought me down to earth today. She said, we were talking. I said, "Molly, God, you're growing up so fast." And she goes, "Are you going to start crying, Papa?" And I said, "I already am crying."
Oh, I tell you, when my 3-year-old found some lace and she put it on, she had a white nightgown on, and she goes, "Look, Daddy, I'm a bride." And I look and go, "That's so
Oh
cute."
no!
I literally started crying.
Oh,
I cried.
God.
I'm telling you.
Your kids are how old?
Sarah will be almost 16, and
Dang.
you can see a picture of her.
I did see a picture, but I thought that was an older picture.
She's very good looking now.
Your kids are 16
and 21.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is,
That's so exciting. That's the height of, for girls. That's like when they're really hitting their just jumping into puberty. I mean, heavy into it. And the boys are
Damn.
great young men.
Now look at this. This is like 8th grade.
Sarah.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
Lord
beautiful.
have
She
mercy.
looks very exotic, almost like she's from.
She's got the Italian
Yeah,
blood from
I was
my
gonna say
wife.
Italian. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've got
Time to get up that gun collection.
and and the baseball bats.
Yeah,
Right there.
yep, yep.
Yeah.
I like with
Does she have a boyfriend?
no.
Oh, good.
Exactly.
Good.
Just friends that are guys, but just friends, right? Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed now. They all,
It's social.
a lot of them just kind of like just pal around, like
Yeah.
8, 9 people just pal around,
That's
like at a
good.
house and just kind of.
Yeah,
That's good.
fortunately,
Yeah.
she hasn't gotten boy crazy yet.
You know, one thing I will say about kids today, I know they get in trouble just like we did, but I think there's a lot more information out there for them to help them out if they get in trouble. Even though the times are tougher today for kids.
Well, they all get phones. I mean, my oldest one has a phone. My middle one's got a phone.
Yeah, I'm sure this one will get a phone, but not until you're 12, at least. I think 12
Theo
is
has a phone,
Who
and
does?
he's only 7.
Oh, jeez.
Who?
Theo, a boy.
Okay, well, we're not worried about Theo.
Yeah, because he's
What
a
about
boy.
you?
Yeah, he's a.
I don't want a phone.
You're being so good.
She's well behaved.
I know,
She
that's-
gets into her little girl voice though sometimes.
That's
how it
okay.
is, But that's okay.
That worked
Okay,
for us
she's
here.
not going to be a little girl forever, so might as well, you know.
I don't know if you. Let's see. Did you want to continue? See, stuff goes really fast, too, especially when I get all.
I used some of your restaurant dollars last night. Took Molly and got a
Oh,
nice
you
little
did?
discount
Oh,
over.
How does that work? You call a number?
Call
No,
me
no,
up.
no,
You
okay.
go online.
Yeah, go online. Just go online,
Yeah.
and when you punch in the code, it'll say you've got $100. I think it's $100 to spend.
And then it'll show you the different restaurants.
Exactly. Just say just say find me anything within a 15-mile
Because
radius.
we were
of
thinking of maybe
94941.
going to Tamil Pie tonight.
I'm not sure if that's it. There's about 12 restaurants in Marin County, and they're all pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Tamil
Okay.
Pie's on there.
Yeah, and the way
They're not-
and it's the catch is
It's,
right.
not, it's not super swanky type places. They're good
Yeah,
places,
but
nice
but
places.
but the thing is like okay, so let's say you want to cash in $25 worth of it.
Mhm.
Okay, and you just print out the certificate. You don't bring the card. You actually print out the certificate
on your computer.
on your computer.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then the catch is that you have to spend let's say $35. Well, 35 minus 25 is 10.
Yeah.
So it really is worth
It is.
$25.
Nice.
They're just trying to get you to say, well, maybe you buy, like a bottle of wine and this, and then you maybe, let's say you go to a $150 dinner and you've gotten $25 credit on there. So I mean, it really is worth.
So it's like a credit.
It's like a credit.
Bargain with.
Yeah, depending upon what. And then we'll go into other things. When we get some time. Just want to treat you guys well. I just figured I'd just start.
You already are just by having us here with Molly. It's
Oh,
nice to do
right.
that. Right. It's the truth, Mom.
Look at this, Bruce.
Hey, what happened?
My now former dog
Oh, he
bit me.
Ouch. Your former dog.
That's
Well,
the
yeah,
first
I
thing.
got bit by a tech dog.
It happened at the Sausalito Dog Park, and we've been having some problems with it.
What kind of dog?
He's a Welsh Terrier. He's an alpha Welsh Terrier, and
Have you thought about? I know it's time consuming. Have you thought about taking him to behavior class?
we gave him to a guy
Yeah.
who worked with him,
We had the.
and he was like came back different dog. But the problem is, if you're not consistent with it,
Yeah.
he'll break back into the old habits. And I'm just not home enough.
Yeah.
I'm the only other alpha person in the house.
Yeah.
My wife's not strong. She's got the 3 boys,
Yeah.
so it's just
It's hard. Yeah.
it's just hard. And so when he bit me,
Yeah, that's
Me?
like.
Because they sense who's the.
Oh yeah. He's trying to assert his dominance over
And,
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
so I called that same trainer and went, hey, come get him.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Maybe this guy will find a home for him.
Right, because he likes him,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and he
And he'll find these people
the
have their
moment-
little network of
the
friends.
moment Scout saw him,
Yeah.
counted.
He's
He went right down,
good.
and that was it.
Yeah, that's good though. The animals.
Man, but I mean, Boys were
How long,
afraid
were
of
you,
him.
how long would you have him?
Had him a year.
Oh yeah, that's you know by after.
We got him at 8 weeks. He was like that.
Yeah, it's just like a human being. We're
But,
born
yeah,
with
but,
these
yeah,
different personalities.
but-
We can't help who we are.
The problem is, we had another Welshie for 15 years, and
He was a great dog.
great dog, and so we thought we were getting
The same
another
thing.
one of him.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
same breed doesn't mean same
No,
temperament.
it doesn't. It does not. It does not.
Wow.
We're like we got a 15-year-old Beagle Corgi. Had him since he was a year old.
Corey, I've heard of
Great,
dog.
great dog. He's a barker though, and he's a food hound.
He's
So-
a whiner.
And he's a
And
whiner.
then a whiner.
But he doesn't. He loves
Kinda
kids. He loves people.
annoying.
He's aggressive with other dogs though.
Does he have separation anxiety? Like when you're not around? Does
Oh
he
yeah,
get
he
upset?
howls.
He howls like a
Oh, so sad.
What he sounds like. And I'm telling
And
you,
then Lucy comes over and hisses him. And then Lucy comes over and hisses at him.
I thought you were going to
Hisses.
put that on my mouth.
No, hey, clamp this thing down here.
And then the guinea pig starts squealing.
Oh, that's right.
You
We
get
got
the
3
whole
guinea
house
pigs.
going on.
We got
And then
a
they get-
menagerie. We only have 1 kid. That's all we can handle. We got a dog, a cat that are ancient. A dog is 15.
And
a cat
we
is
used to
19.
have 5 guinea pigs.
We have
We have
a-
2 kids and we're outnumbered. So.
We have a
Yeah.
bearded dragon lizard,
Oh, wow.
a snake, a turtle.
Wow.
You get the whole zoo going on.
That's it.
You like the reptiles.
Well, the boys did.
Yeah, that's cool. Reptiles are cool. They're very
You've got to constantly get crickets and all that.
Yeah, but who's the one buying all the food? Who's the one feeding me?
Of course. That's
Suck.
I
I do the dog.
I only want stuffed animals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
At least you don't have to clean the cat box out. That's
feed them,
No, we
but
don't.
not
That's
in
gross.
the
Cat.
cage.
when they get older, it's really gross because they pee like crazy. It
Gus
becomes
used
like
to pee like
concrete.
one time me and Mom brought Gus to the dog park and he peed everywhere he saw.
Well, they have to mark their territory.
That's
it.
it.
They got so
You know,
many
So
smells.
he
you know how cats
peed
fight with other
5
cats in the house? We've
million.
taken a cat to like a boarding place. We've gone on vacation. All the cats are mellow. Partly because they have like something plugged in to kind of mellow them out. But I asked, I said, why are these cats not fighting? Because they're not there long enough to claim territory.
Oh, that's
So
right.
everybody's kind of looking at each other like, whose place is this?
Oh.
Interesting.
So you can actually put a bunch of cats together.
Wow.
As long as they're just not there for like a year.
They have a different territorial thing than the dogs. It's interesting. It's a much
Very
different
much.
thing. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so get into so we pretty much I don't think we need to talk more about the athletes going bankrupt. It's kind of interesting though.
It is.
Is there anything you guys wanted to talk about on that?
I can't think of anything. Can you, Bert? About athletes going bankrupt? Unless they're, I'm sure there's plenty
Okay.
more we can talk about, but I can't think of it.
Okay. So I just wanted to touch just a tad on like the disability insurance for athletes and a little bit of Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow.
I'll probably cover it. And if you guys, I
And
don't know
the show will air this Saturday.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the last one did air.
At 9 and 10?
No, this is on Sports Byline.
Oh, sports button. Right.
And so I did listen to it. I wanted to make sure that everything was fine, and it was. So I had it on the computer. I did listen live. It was fine. And then I looked at the stations that we're on because we're nationwide on a bunch of
Right.
stations, and I picked one that was in New York, and it was on.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
How many stations do they have altogether? I'm doing some
they
research.
have a couple of hundred.
They used to have, ESPN just wiped them out. Though.
Yeah.
ESPN destroyed them. He had, I think he had like 1,400 stations.
Wow.
And he had him. He had it in San Francisco for years. He was on KSFO because he worked there, and then he was on there until about 1997, 98. And ESPN came in and they said, "Look, if you can run our programming, but you got to run all of our programming." That means, and he only had 8 hours to 12 hours to 16 hours. They have 24 hours, so so he got that. That really hurt him, but he's still,
Yeah,
he's
been
hanging in there.
25
It's
years.
he's a character. I get a kick out of him.
I haven't met him.
He's a piece of work. I don't know. I'm not a big fan around, but I've known him for 25 years, and I respect. I've known him actually since 1982. I respect the guy, but he's not a real nice person
Oh,
sometimes.
really? That's bad.
He's kind of
Wasn't he a
mean to
ball
people.
player?
No. He was he was actually a TV guy. He was okay.
Yeah, that's what I
He worked
remember.
at Seattle and he worked at Cron.
Okay.
And,
Bar?
yeah, he was there until about 78, 79, and he worked at KSFO for 3 years.
Didn't he marry into family money?
He did. He married into some money, and he doesn't have any kids. He lives over in Strawberry. Ron is an interesting guy. He's very bright. He's a pilot also. He used to fly. Interesting guy. You have to meet him sometime. You don't see him around though. He never comes to any games. Never.
Yeah, Never seen him in the clubhouse. Never seen the. I've never ever
Once in a while,
ever
you know what he
seen him
comes
at a
to?
sporting event.
He comes to 49er games, and he'll leave at the end of the first half.
In the press box?
Yeah,
I've never seen him.
Yeah, well, he's been doing that for years because he's buddies with Eddie DeBartolo, or was. He always claims that he brought Walsh to DeBartolo, which is in fact partially true, because he was the voice of Stanford football when Walsh was coaching there. And DeBartolo was the young owner of the 49ers, and they were desperate for help, and Ron was looking for
they definitely need help like that.
So he kind of helped facilitate that relationship.
Okay.
But he likes to play that up like.
So we can still talk. We can talk a little bit about the Dubs. I mean, we'll be
Yeah,
that dated.
sure, whatever you guys want to do.
By the
Remember, it
by
is
the time-
national, so
Yeah.
By the time it hits, we would have already had Game 3 Friday.
Yeah, that's right. Things could be. Well, whatever you guys want to do.
We talk about last night's game because man, that hurt.
Oh, that was a great game.
that worked. Okay, well, that's good because the stuff that I have.
But I won't say
carried over.
last night. I'll say
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Monday night.
Did you see the first game?
It was amazing earlier in the night. An even more incredible game in the sense that the results was Chicago beating Miami on Miami's
Yeah.
floor. And
Yeah.
Nate Robinson, the shortest guy out there,
Yeah.
5'8". That guy's a great player. The Warriors had him, and he was, of course, at the University of
That's
Washington.
5'8", but he plays like he's 6'3"
But
because
he
he's
finds-
got tremendous hops.
He's not like Muggsy Bogues. He's better.
Yeah.
He can find the little spots and just like a small version of Tony Parker. He just a great
Yeah.
driver, or Steph Curry.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. When we cut to the second commercial break, we asked this trivia question. The four main swimming strokes are freestyle, backstroke, butterfly, and gentlemen, breaststroke.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Believe it or not, I do use that stroke when I go out. Not when I'm trying to catch waves, just when I'm swimming out there. It's easiest on your body. You do the, well, you can't do a butterfly. You could do a butterfly. That's insane.
Oh,
You don't do a backstroke unless you
Freestyle
have.
would
Yeah,
be-
freestyle. You do that, but it wears you out a little bit. You want to save your
energy
in
for-
case you get stuck out there and a rip pulls you out. Then you have to use it.
Well, talking about that, one time I went snorkeling and I wasn't really paying attention, and I was starting to get tired, and then I looked and I realized, holy smokes, I'm in the middle of this lagoon, like right in the middle, and the closest rock is like 20 feet down, and I started getting into a little bit of a panic.
Sure.
And I realized, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm in this it's a huge lagoon,
Yeah.
Hawaii,
Right.
Oahu, and I'm thinking, oh, I mean, I had no idea that I could put myself in that kind of danger.
I had that happen at Ocean Beach a couple times, maybe 10, 15 years ago. That's scary. You're out there beyond the break. You're swimming out there with other surfers, but there's a strong outgoing tide, and you're swimming across it, not against it, but
Yeah.
across it to get back in. And you know you're going to be okay, but it's just this weird feeling. You look at the shore, and you can actually see the shore moving, and you're moving along the shore, and it's like, I don't like this.
Well, my son is a little bit of a daredevil, and I got him to start jumping off like little 6-foot rocks and 8-foot rocks and all that. Well, suddenly he started going up higher and higher to a point where it's like it was just nerve-wracking for me. So one time we're at Shipwreck Cove in Kauai, right? And he follows a couple of the locals up there, and this thing is at least 65 feet high. And
It was a cliff diver.
It is, yeah. And the waves are big. It's a little bit
Yeah.
treacherous. And he's like seriously thinking about jumping.
Whoa.
I said, Christian, you're nuts. I said, I'll tell you right now. I said, I'm not going in after you. There's no use in both of us drowning.
Yeah.
I love you, but
Did he go in, though?
no, I convinced him not to.
Good,
I mean,
good.
he was
65 feet. That's crazy.
Yeah, and with hard waves. I mean, he literally would have had to go about at least a mile.
Unless you really know what the heck you're doing and you've scouted the place out.
Yeah, and he plays
Thoroughly.
he's played water polo, but that's not quite
Well,
enough.
he's a true waterman.
30 yards.
Yeah, no, he definitely is. You guys had wanted to mention about the first game of the Warriors.
Well,
Yeah.
if I have to look at the balance of the week, my heartbreak loss of the week had to be, what do you think, Bruce? Game 1.
Oh, gosh.
Game 1 on Monday night.
They win that game, and that's a whole different series.
I mean, I'm watching with my son. They're up 18 points, Bruce. Up
Yeah,
18
I know.
points.
Like 6
There's
minutes
just a
to
little
go.
over 6 minutes to go. My middle son says, all right, it's in the bag.
No.
They were up by
Uh,
16 points with under 4 minutes to go.
And then a 16-2 run, by the
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like the Spurs figured out, oh, well, we're in a playoff game, and I guess we better play.
Tony
I-
Parker, 8 points, and 8 of those
Yeah.
out of the first 10, and he was just slashing and driving, and nobody was stepping in front of him.
He was hitting shots. He was hitting floaters. I mean, TP9 was
Oh.
just
God.
amazing.
The rebounds. I
Yeah.
kept saying that. Rebounds. I mean, what happened to Bogut? And against the Nuggets, man, he was right in.
Well,
21 rebounds in that
on
game.
home court.
You know what it
Yeah.
is? It's his ankle. He had a shot before that game, and it's the first time he's played at that level. 21 rebounds, a season high, and he had a shot apparently before the game on Tuesday night, but it wasn't, or Monday night, I should say, but apparently it wasn't good enough.
But what happens when doesn't the coach see like how tired these guys are?
Well, he's got no choice. They lost Draymond Green and they lost Thompson to.
They lost Klay Thompson had fouled out.
And they were both playing well.
Yeah,
both
but
of those guys
how
weren't
many
playing great.
guys are on the team though?
Well, they used basically.
He's not going to play Biedrins.
Yeah, he
He's not
played.
going to play. You know,
No, poor
he was hurt,
Biedrins.
right?
Okay, well, no, he's just
not. He's just ineffective.
It's just an effect. They keep him around because they're paying him the ridiculous amount of money. No, Bazemore actually played and put the Warriors in front with a great crossover move, but
Put him up ahead.
Yeah.
With
I mean,
3
Curry-
seconds left.
Curry's a one-man wrecking crew, but
44 points.
yeah, but you can't have just one guy. And if you notice towards the end, he was getting tired because look how many minutes he played.
Yeah.
So he just couldn't drain the threes anymore.
well, they were depending on a lot of guys. But you're right, he was carrying the load, and he has been. And it's just amazing to me, Vernon. We watch a lot of games, and you see his teammates there laughing because they can't believe what they're
Yeah,
seeing.
exactly.
I mean, they are literally laughing, and he's going. It's almost like Michael Jordan when he hit that shot in that game in '98. He kind of looked over at the
Yeah.
bench and went like this. Well, I don't know how I'm doing.
Well, it just showed the maturity of the club. I mean, it
Yeah.
showed clearly that these guys still need to learn
Oh yeah.
how to close the door
Oh yeah.
and lock it.
But you know, the thing is, during the season, they were winning a lot of these close games. But the last 2 games they played, they barely beat Denver. That was almost an absolute disaster. They
Yeah.
staggered into a win in there. And then on Monday night,
Well, what happened with that shot with Ginobili? Why were there 3 guys just like away?
And
from
remember,
him?
just moments before, he had just taken some wild three-pointer
Yeah.
that just wasn't even, I mean, it was just a bad shot. And then on the inbounds play, nobody's
on
on him.
him.
Nobody's on him.
Greg Popovich had a great line. He said, I went from wanting to trade him immediately to wanting to serve him breakfast the next morning.
Greg Papa said, our esteemed colleague on both radio and TV, Greg Papa thought, in his estimation, that was the biggest Warriors heartbreak loss
without question.
since game. He went back to '76, Game 7,
I was
Western
there.
Conference Finals,
Against
Phoenix
Phoenix,
Suns, where the Warriors, I believe, they had the best record in the league.
They had
were
the best
just
record in the league. They were defending champions. They had a 7-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and Rick Barry hit 1 shot in the fourth quarter. It did not take, I think he took 3 shots in that quarter, or 4. And it was just a mystery. What happened to Barry? Why didn't he take a shot?
Lost the game to the Phoenix
Yeah.
Suns and went on to play the Boston
Can you
Celtics.
tell Mark Jackson to give the ball to someone other than Jarrett Jack?
You know, Jared Jack, I love the fact that
know
he's fearless, though.
though.
I know he does miss some shots once in a while.
Or just dribbling.
He is a bit of a one-on-one guy sometimes.
It is an adventure out there, but I bet you if Mark Jackson was in this room, he would say, "Well, Edward, who would you like to see
Him.
in that situation?"
I want Mark Jackson to
17 years in the league as
He
guard,
can still do it.
he can do it.
Jerry West. He's only 73
Bring him back.
Get him back here. Guys, I'll tell you. Okay, I just want to touch a little bit about, let's talk about Tim Tebow.
Okay.
Okay, what's going to happen with Tim? Everyone's talking about, he doesn't. I kind of liked him as a quarterback.
He's fun to
people
watch.
Say, people say he didn't have an arm.
No, I went to a game, and I don't know if you were there, Vernon, a couple of years ago when the Raiders were playing Denver, and he scored 2 touchdowns, or actually 1 touchdown was like a 74-yard run, and another one where I think he went the distance. And I just thought, wow, I remember Bobby Douglas in the 70s with the left-hander with the Chicago Bears. He was a good runner, but this guy put Bobby Douglas to shame.
Yeah, you could argue before there was Kaepernick, there was Tim Tebow using that read option and working it to perfection. Now, unfortunately, in New York, it just didn't work out. And now, I mean, he's looking for a team.
He'll get a job.
Is he gonna have to go to the Canadian
I don't
Football
think
League?
No, he'll get a job. Somebody will pick him up because he's too much of a talent. Somebody would love to have that wild card on there, on the bench.
And
Well, I hate to say it, but if I'm Jacksonville, he's a Florida guy. I got trouble selling out home games.
Yeah, bring him back.
Yeah,
it's a great move.
Throw him on the team.
I'm all for it.
Well, there's a question here about Chicago Bears tutored Tebow when he came out to Florida. Okay, and then it says, "I'd love to be in the room to get Jay Cutler's reaction if the Bears took a shot on him, a shot at Tebow." So here's a question: how much influence does a current quarterback have with a potentially new one coming in?
Good
Influence from what regard?
For let's say, as an example, in this case, Jay Cutler says, "Hey, there can't be two of us on this team. I mean, I don't know how much.
Well, think about
Control
that dynamic. Montana and Young.
Yeah.
Always there was a little tension, and I think Steve made Joe a better quarterback. And then, of course, more recently, Alex Smith and Kaepernick, and that rivalry didn't last very long because it was clear that Harbaugh was enamored with Kaepernick, as well he should be.
I don't think any quarterbacks in the room when those kind of decisions are made.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing I think is, boy, man, how's so and so going to feel about that?
Yeah.
I mean, if that was the case, Steve Young would have never been a member of the 49ers.
But you remember how traumatic and difficult it was for the Niners to say goodbye to Joe Montana. I remember the Bay Area was split over that. I mean, half the people wanted to get rid of Young, but Young had been outstanding.
Yeah.
But he hadn't taken him to a Super Bowl.
Young had been outstanding. He was MVP in 92.
Yep.
And
but they hadn't won a Super Bowl.
the Plan B came out. They put him on Plan B, and that was it.
Yeah.
How old was Montana when he went to Kansas City?
35.
Yeah, like on the broad side of 35.
Okay, so he still had a few good years left of him.
And remember when the Niners played at Kansas City in the regular season,
They won.
Montana just cut him up.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like it was nothing.
That seems to happen a lot. Little revenge.
And I remember I was at Montana's last game in the NFL when they lost to the Buffalo Bills
In the
AFC
championship game,
game.
Oh, that's
It
right.
was in Buffalo. By the way,
was
O.J.
a-
Simpson's last game
Yeah.
working for NBC.
That was the same day the Niners lost to the Dallas Cowboys for the second year in a row when we were at that game. And I
Yep.
remember watching Montana get his bell. Didn't he get his bell rung?
Oh yeah, because Bruce Smith was telling us in the locker room countless times. He was every hit it was it was just he just grimaced and groaned.
Maybe he was trying to do the old Jim Brown. You come back to the huddle looking like you limping and stuff like that. And then the next one you just go right out
Well,
there.
there's a
again.
reason
Jim
why-
Brown could do that.
There's a
Yeah.
reason why Jim Brown left the game though when he was 30. I mean, he wasn't hurting, but boy, he dealt out a lot of punishment, and I think he realized he was going to get a lot more if he stayed in the game.
Funny thing about Jim Brown, I mean, he kind of walked away at the height of his game. But
Yep.
if you remember, by the way, Art Modell's biggest regret was standing up to Jim Brown because he was filming The Dirty Dozen
That's
in Europe.
Lee Marvin.
And they had bad weather that was costing production delays,
Mhm.
which forced him to miss the beginning of
That's
camp
right. That's right.
for the
It's
Cleveland
not-
Browns.
I didn't know
And he
that.
was coming off maybe an MVP year or rushing
That was
title year,
1967.
67.
Yeah.
And so Mardell's like, well, we're going to fine you for every day
I remember
that
that.
that you're missing camp here, because he was trying to show the other guys that this guy couldn't run the whole team. But Jim Brown wasn't like the other guys.
Sure.
And then Jim Brown announced his retirement
Said, I don't need it anymore.
on the set of The Dirty Dozen.
Well, he knew he had another career going. He turned into a pretty, he had a presence.
Yeah, he went on to
Yeah.
make more movies.
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah,
Remember that movie he made with Raquel Welch?
yeah, very controversial. Yeah, yeah.
100 Rifles.
yeah.
Do you remember the name of it?
So,
Well,
yes.
they were supposed to
Not
have
a million years BC.
They're supposed to have a love scene, a makeout scene, or
Oh,
something
yeah,
like
that's
that, and
right,
he was
yeah.
trying to do something.
And she was the hot number. in
Yeah.
Hollywood. Oh, my
And he
God.
said he put his tongue in her ear, and she like freaked out.
Yeah, I definitely have a thing for Raquel Welch. She
Oh,
was,
who wouldn't?
I had a life-size poster of Raquel Welch.
She
on
still
my
looks good.
Yeah.
She does. She
Yeah.
does. She's had a little surgery, but a beautiful woman is a beautiful woman, and she's going to stay a beautiful woman until she dies.
Well, okay, you got it. The one that you're talking about is the 1 million years BC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the skippy little outfit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they quite look like that a million
What was
years
the
ago.
one where she was shot into the body with the other guys? Fantastic Voyage.
Yes.
Yes, that was another
Well,
fascinating.
I remember that movie.
That was a great film. I mean, it wasn't a great film, but it was the special effects were unprecedented.
You know what the kids are saying right now? Listen to the show. Who's Raquel Welch?
Yeah, it's like the honest black question.
She's still alive, at least.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, we're talking about football, and I'll say I've got to tell you this quick story here. Now, I don't know if this is true, but it makes for a good story. This came from my father-in-law, who had played a short time for the Pittsburgh Steelers before they had face masks. Okay, so he tells us the story that the reason that he quit playing is because they didn't take care of the fields very well back then.
No.
Right. So one day it rains like a mother, as they say, right? And the next day they're playing football. And if you remember football in the 40s, it was very similar to rugby.
Yeah.
They just kept tackling the guy with the ball.
Mhm.
Well, this one guy drowned.
Seriously?
That's the story. He goes in and he goes, this game's a little too
The
dangerous. I'm
field
getting
was
out of
so
here. It was
muddy and
and
such a puddle.
that
A
they just-
guy.
Well, he was knocked unconscious, probably was laying there
Probably
in the mud.
just laying
People
there,
just-
they just kept going for the ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he
All right, guys.
sounds like a tall tale to me.
It could be. All right, we're going to cut to our third and final trivia question here. In water polo, What is the term used in treading water while not swimming? There's a special term for that. The first 3 callers with the correct answer win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Their website is lighthouse4fun.com. Call 888-660-4495. That's 888-660-4495 to answer this question. And no looking up on the internet there, Bert. In water polo, what is the term used for treading water while not swimming? Make sure to include your name, email address, speak slowly, and spell out your email one letter at a time, and don't touch that dial because Sports Econ 101 will be right back. Okay, good. That was right on time.
That's great. You're really good at this, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, I tell you,
you have a very natural talent for this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, it's a pleasure with great co-hosts. You know,
We're good at BSing. That's what we're good at.
You know what? But that's the thing. This is
BS.
supposed to be a show again. A bunch of guys sitting around the bar having drinks, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Molly, you're being very patient. Thank you, sweetie. This is the last segment.
You don't go to bars.
What's that? I don't go to bars. I did go to bars though when I was younger.
Yeah, we all go when we're younger.
When I was younger, not a lot. I didn't drink.
See,
I didn't drink a
Mommy
lot.
told me that when she invited you on a date, and you said, "No, let's go over to my house," and you had beans, carrots for hors d'oeuvres, and Doritos and soda.
Really?
That's a good dinner.
That was the hors d'oeuvres that I had?
That's what I order when I go out to an
And
expensive
then
dinner.
you went.
She told you this.
Phil Jackson is informed the Brooklyn Nets he is not interested in their head coaching.
She was
gig.
telling everyone.
Doesn't surprise me. She was
And
telling
then
everyone that.
Bruce, whenever my friend Audrey comes over, he always says, "Me and Colette met at a restaurant," and then he said, "And how did your parents meet?" Every single
I've
time.
only asked you twice, haven't I?
No, you ask her every single entire time.
Well, I gotta remember not to ask the same question. People accuse me of doing that a lot. Yeah. Will Clark
Audrey
used to say,
accused
"Hey,
you
you
of-
never shut up. You ask the same goddamn questions over and over and over. Yakety yakety yak. God damn it. What do you want to bother me for?"
Because it's my job.
He never actually said that. He always used to tease me. Well, Bruce, the thing about it is you don't understand. You're assuming. You know what assuming don't you?
Thing today. Guess what
That sounds
Audrey
just
Q
like
said,
him.
Dad? She
What?
said you were fat.
Who said that?
Audrey Q.
Audrey, she says everybody's fat and ugly and old. So that's okay. I
But
don't
what about a
Because I stand
baby?
out in the crowd.
Babies aren't fat and ugly and old.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Babies are sweet and thin. and
They are.
they're
I don't know if they're sweet. Thin, sweet, kind of.
Okay. So
I
this
was
is just a quick,
You're fat. You were just.
just a quick one here. We'll ask closing
Yeah.
remarks. And at some point, again, I'm out of town. My wife is forcing me to go to Europe.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Where do you
poor
go?
guy.
yeah,
Where?
We're going to Italy. Doing
Oh,
Milan,
sweet.
Venice, Florence.
Milan is a big city. Have you been to Milan before?
I've
It's like
never
LA.
been to.
It's huge.
Yeah, where it's just it's.
Is this a good time of the year to go?
It's just a lot.
Very good
June.
time.
Are they going to? Wait.
The kid. Well, yeah. The
That's
kids
They're
are
great.
thinking
they're young. No,
That is
They're
great
going?
for you.
Yeah.
so right after school, right after.
That is great because you'll be right ahead of the tourist rush. The tourist
That's
rush
what I'm thinking.
just about starts, but you're going to be there.
And the weather should still be good.
Yeah,
And
the weather will be nice. It won't be too hot.
Yeah.
And Italy's beautiful this time.
I hear wear comfortable shoes because you'll be walking
That's-
everywhere.
you know what,
will
and-
walk and you will like it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Make sure you go to the Duomo in.
Yes,
in-
I
it's
was
supposed to be
definitely told that, and
Yeah.
I'm bringing comfortable shoes. I'm bringing 2 pairs, and I'm starting to break them in now.
And go to the fashion. I don't know what it's called. It's like a place where all the fashion models go, and it's really fascinating. It's this big, enormous, kind of outdoor but covered market. What the heck is the name of it? I can't remember.
In Milan?
In Milan, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Because
really-
we're going to stay there just about a day and a half. is the idea to figure out
It'll
the
be enough to
other
check
one.
out. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what I was going to ask you guys is, since I'm going to be out for 2 weeks, I was wondering if there was any time that and again, I'll do as much like here. I do the beginning stuff, and I can do the end stuff, so that we do just do
Sure.
it blah 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 like that. If there's any times to do it, again, I'll get some prep for a double session.
Oh, to double up shows?
Yeah.
To cover what
Rather
you got.
than-
Before
rather
next.
than
Before next. Thursday?
whatever you tell me, what's good for you guys here.
Let's see. This week is slow. It's finally going to slow down for me on Thursday and Friday, but I'm going to the Warriors game Monday or Tuesday works for me, I guess.
I mean, but unless they're unless the series is still going on and they're sending me to San Antonio, I'm around next Monday and Tuesday.
Okay. I mean, you tell me what you want to just do it.
Probably Tuesday's safer than.
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday.
Well, let me think here.
Let's do it Tuesday.
Friday's game 3, Sunday's game 4.
Yeah. Tuesday would be game 5.
So if they sit, Tuesday would be game
Yeah,
5.
in San Antonio.
Unless they have they wouldn't have a 3-day.
No,
No,
at
because
this point
it's
they can't.
it's 2-2, 1-1, 1-1.
But I mean, they have only 1 day's off between games because there's just so many games to play. This is only the second round. They're gonna play 2 more rounds after this. It's ridiculous. It's not over until mid-June.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, unless I'm in San Antonio, but I mean,
you can always
could
call
I
by phone.
call in and do this from San Antonio?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Just like
That'd
Yeah.
be fun because you can give a
sure.
little flavor of well, even though it's
Sure.
older. You
Yeah.
want that.
Listen, I work around your guys' schedule, so.
As long as we have these,
Yeah.
we can do a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Okay. So we'll go to the next.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it, man.
You guys are the best.
We tried
They
to
are
be.
the best.
And when I returned, Mary Jo and the car were gone. That's terrible.
Where does that come from?
Ted Kennedy.
Oh, God.
The late great. I liked Ted Kennedy. He was crazy, kind of a jerky guy, but politically he was great.
Yeah.
He did a lot of good things for this country.
They kind of helped.
But he got ruined. His career was ruined. But you know something? If he'd become president, he never would have been as great a leader as he became in the Senate.
That's true.
And that was a blessing in disguise. He's not a very flawed individual, though.
Isn't it? I've learned this from Willie Brown. Isn't the beauty of the Senate just doing favors and then getting favors back?
To a certain degree, yeah. I
Wait
think
a
you have
minute,
to
what
play
does
that
Willie
game.
Brown know about favors?
Oh, dude, he's cashed in on so much stuff.
But I think
like
the
that.
Kennedys in general, they had so much wealth, they didn't need to play that game. It's almost because they were so wealthy, but it was old money and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, we get off on the whole story on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Last trivia question, and then we close up. Any last topics?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk about.
No, just throw something against the wall, Edward.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice thing about having three people here.
That's
Somebody's
right,
got
exactly.
a spark there.
Or something like that.
Hey, first Niner rookie minicamp is coming up.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Now, how many do they have? Like 3 before training camp, or 2?
Yeah, they have 3 camps before. Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
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 I want to see this Eric Reed kid.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Vern Glenn and Bruce McGowan. When we cut to the third commercial break, we asked this trivia question. In water polo, now, your kids are in the water.
They're in the water. Yeah,
They're
they're
in the water.
swimmers.
They're
They're not water
swimmers,
polo
okay.
players.
What is the term used in treading water while not swimming?
I should know this because I played water polo, but I have to say that I did not play in a high school team. I played with my 2 buddies, my 2 brother buddies. They were brothers.
But what's that kick called when you're
Yeah.
just sitting?
That's it.
It's a frog kick or something.
No, it's like a slow because they do it in synchronized swimming.
That's right.
It's
Oh, the scissor kick.
it's like an egg
Egg
beater.
beater.
Yeah,
Egg
egg
beater.
beater.
There you go.
That is
I was going to say
correct.
we played commando water polo though. It was like a half pool, 1 goal.
No, it's just this egg
Yeah.
beater. It's the legs are
Yeah.
just going rapid fire.
That's what we did that, but we clobbered each other. There were no rules. You could clobber each other. People would end up on the bottom of the pool with somebody's teeth, somebody's
Oh, that's nasty.
toe in their mouth, or it was pretty nasty.
Okay, quick thing before we have to cut out here. Disability insurance for athletes. You guys remember Brian Bosworth?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
The
Boz.
boss.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
Remember Bo Jackson running him
That's
over?
right.
That was the end of the Boz.
Yeah, it was on Monday night at the Kingdom,
It was
wasn't it?
Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Kingdom. Yep.
But
Yeah.
that guy was smart enough to buy a $6 million disability policy.
Wow.
So that was the big
He
headline.
cashed in on it?
Yeah, absolutely. He couldn't play football anymore.
He was 24, 25 when he got to get out.
Yeah,
something
with his
like
shoulders. I think it was
That's right.
both of his shoulders, if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken.
Ugh.
Pretty amazing. So, some of these guys,
Good for him.
we're
Yeah.
talking about bankrupt athletes, the ones who are smart.
Well, what's really sad is that there are a lot of indigent guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are just, and the league can help them out. The players' union won't do anything for them. They'll do, and Gene Upshaw, who was one of those guys, actually never helped his old teammates out, and they disliked him
that's
because
too
of
bad.
that. The late great Gene Upshaw, who I always liked, but anyway.
All right, guys, we're going to cut out here. Here are our thoughts for the day. If 4 out of 5 people suffer from diarrhea, does that mean 1 out of 5 enjoys it? I like that. And when sign makers go on strike, is there anything written on their picket signs? Ever thought about that?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to thank my guests.
I got a good quick one.
Go ahead.
A foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of small minds. I'm not sure if it was Karl Marx or Ralph Waldo Emerson. Maybe
Okay,
it was somebody
I'll,
else.
I'll have to think about that
That's
one.
a silly one.
Okay, I want to thank my co-hosts Bruce McGowan and Vern Glenn for joining me again. And tune in next week to Sports Econ 101, where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective and give away free vacations for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening.
We get to go to a free vacation coming up here?
Coming up soon. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, your host. We'll be back
I want to
next
be
week.
Edward Brown.
So long. Guys.
That's fun.
You guys are fun. Love you guys. Love you guys.
Goofy. Silly. We had a good time. That was great.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, next week I got some other fun stuff.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have